Is your poop trying to tell you something? Hi, I'm Bernice Hunt, and I am a brain health specialist. I work with women just like you who are starting to notice a few memory issues, and I help you to stay sharp so that as you age, you can still travel, have fun with your grandkids, and experience new adventures without missing a beat. As a wellness coach for over 12 years, I've talked to a lot of people about a lot of things, but when it comes to pooping, we kind of tend to shy away from that. We kind of just say it is what it is, and that's not really a hot topic. But to ignore that part of your body is doing a disservice to your body and to your brain. So did you catch my last video? I did a video a few days ago about being regular with your elimination process. So if you missed that, you can still catch it on my YouTube channel or on the Facebook page. And it's talking about being regular. So get that and take a look at that if you'd like. But today I want to go a little deeper talking about the gut-brain connection as well as what better poop actually looks like. Okay, so we're going to go there. So let's start first with the gut-brain connection. And I know a lot of you already know that the gut is often talked about as being your second brain. And that's because there's such an intimate connection with your brain and your gut. There's a nerve that's connecting the two called the vagus nerve, and it has a lot to do with signaling and messaging things that are going on from your gut to your brain and from your brain down to your gut. And so they are intimately connected. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. So if you want a better brain, it behoove you to take better care of your gut, your digestive system, and elimination is part of that digestive tracking process. Okay, so you can't ignore that aspect of it. Also, along with that, we have the microbiome, which has a lot of your immune system, in that area. So a lot of the gut bacteria that's there has a lot to do with your different hormones and things that are being produced in there also. And also, as we said, the timing of your elimination, the type that you do, the regularity, all of that is connected. It has connection to your whole body and your brain. Okay, so we're talking there, when we talk about elimination, we're talking about the large intestine or your colon. Okay, some people refer to it in the oldie days as your bowels. Okay, that's where that waste from your ingesting your food and your digestion, the waste ends up there, because actually your poop consists of mostly water. It's 75% water, if you would believe it. It doesn't look like it all the time, but it's 75% water, and the rest of it, like 25% or so, is actually bacteria, dead bacteria and bacteria that's actually alive. We'll talk a little bit about that in a minute. And then you have your dead cells that are mixed up in there. You have your debris from the metabolic systems that are going on there with your bacteria and all that kind of stuff. So that comprises what that feces actually is. Okay, and with that, you need to consider the condition of it, what it looks like, the frequency the amount of it, and the frequency that you go. All those things are actually signs of health. And it's signs if that system is working efficiently. And if it's not working efficiently, as we can say, there's things that are in your brain that's going to be affected as well as the rest of your body. So you need to look at that. Now, your colon's never going to be totally empty, because you have that process, that eating process that's going on all the time. But also, since we said it's 75% water and dead cells and bacteria and all that comprise that feces, you're going to have that happening. And you know what? I can speak to that, because years ago when I went on a liquid fast, and I went on it for several weeks, I'm not telling people to do this, but this is what I did back then. And I was amazed, because I was still eliminating. I was still pooping, and I wasn't eating any food. I was amazed. I went for weeks and weeks, and I wasn't eating any food, but it was still coming out. Not every day, but it was still coming out. I was like, whoa, how much stuff is up in there? So I I concur with their saying that your colon is never empty. Okay, so that's one thing that they say. Also, they say that there's variety in how your colon responds, depending on who you are, and a lot of factors connected with that. And so there's no actually number in cement on how regular you should be. People go from eliminating, once a day to 3 times a day to 3 times a week. And in rare cases, people can go like once a week and still be considered healthy if they're not taking laxatives and those kind of things. And so you really have to know you. And like I said in the other video, being regular and knowing you is one of the things that you want to look for. Also the things you eat from day to day can cause changes in that as well. So you want to look for your regularity, find out what's you, but there are certain signs that you should be looking for. We'll talk about that in a minute. Okay, so I want to talk about positioning also, because some of you may have seen my other video where I talked about that I have a toilet footstool that I just got from Amazon. I got a toilet footstool. I call it my poop stool. But anyway, and it goes on the floor. The stool sits on the floor in front of your toilet, and you put your feet up on there. So you change your position. So you're more in the natural position, the squatter's position, when you're going to the bathroom. Because they did a study where they had 3 groups of people. They had one that was sitting regularly, the regular way we all traditionally sit on the toilet. They had another group where they had actually lowered the toilet, so they had to, go down lower to eliminate. And then they had one that they call squatters, okay? And they were looking to see if there was any difference in the ease of elimination and also the timing, how soon, how quickly they were able to do that. And they found out that the squatters, okay, both eliminated faster. They didn't have to wait as long. They say between 5 and 10 minutes is normal. Some people, though, take 15 to 30 minutes. A lot of those have medical conditions connected with that. But the people that were squatters eliminated faster and with less stress, strain, more easily. Okay, so take that in consideration when you think about how you're going to sit in that toilet. But I'm loving my toilet footstools. It's actually shown me a few things. But anyway, I digress. Okay, so that's positioning does matter, just in case you're wondering about that. All right, and they did notice that in some cultures, in the cultures that culturally they do the squatting when they go to the bathroom, they have almost no incidence of hemorrhoids or hernias or constipation, any of that stuff, guys. And so I thought that was interesting as well. Just a side note. Okay, so the other thing I thought was interesting was that experts are seeing a link between bacteria that has been in your your large intestine, in your colon for a long period of time. Because like I said, when you eliminate some of the bacteria that comes out, 25 to 40% of it is bacteria. Some of it is dead, which yay. But some of it is still alive, which goes to our hygiene and our sanitation. That makes it even more important when you go to the bathroom that you then go wash your hands, because you have actually live bacteria. It's not all dead, live bacteria that are on your hands and stuff. Okay, so digress again. But anyway, they found out that the longer the bacteria that was alive, the live bacteria stayed in your colon, the more resistant it became. They turned in what I'm calling superbugs. So when they did come out, they were able to remain alive and to also be passed on to humans and maybe infect other humans. Just because they became more resilient from the length of time they survived in that colon. I thought that was really interesting. So that's yet another reason to make sure that you're eliminating regularly, because you don't want to be creating superbugs in your colon. Okay, so we'll get off that. All right, so the other thing I want to share is, did you guys realize that there's something called anxiety poop? You may not have termed it that way, but I know we've all experienced those things, watery stools, constipation, nausea. That is the term now, anxiety poop. And that's how your body is responding to stress. And that's where we're getting the brain gut connection as well. Because, when those hormones, your serotonin and your cortisol and your adrenaline, when those increase because of stress or anxiety, it is also affecting your gut, which is affecting your elimination process, which therefore may end up having toxins and things reabsorbed into your bloodstream, therefore affecting your body, affecting your brain. Okay, so anxiety poop is a definite thing. And they said, especially regarding the serotonin, they said when that spikes from anxiety, it actually can cause spasms in your colon. And it can cause your colon to have these spasms that will eject bowel movements unexpectedly. Some of you guys may have experienced that as well. That's all connected to stress. So that all has to do with things that are happening between that you and your vagus nerve and your brain and all those things. And then you can have some signs of that by observing your poop. Okay. All right. So we'll go there because regarding what better poop looks like. All right. So there's lots of things to consider. I don't want to try to gross you out, but there are several things to consider. All of you know about the odor. Okay. The smell is one thing you consider, but the size and the shape are things to consider. The texture is things to consider. The transition time are things to consider. So we'll talk briefly about that. Okay. In terms of the odor, the gases that are emitted, some of them are produced from the bacteria doing, what they're doing, fermentation and all that kind of stuff. And some of them have odors like the rotten egg smell kind of thing. But a lot of other things are odorless. And so you can have an odor, but it should not get what we call unbearable. The day talking about strike a match in the bathroom for all that spray all in the bathroom. It shouldn't be that serious. Okay. If it's that serious, there's some things going on that you need to address regarding your digestive system, okay? Because that stuff is staying in there too long, becoming impacted or constipation or whatever, which means it can be being reabsorbed, okay? And you can be making some super bugs. All right. So, size, the length. Okay. I thought this was interesting. I knew that I had read somewhere that it should be about the length of your forearm. Not at one time necessarily, although you can. The day's worth of feces elimination should add up to the length from your wrist to your elbow. So like the size of your forearm, like 10 to 12 inches, okay? It should add up to that. It actually said it's probably the size of whatever your colon size, the descending colon, whatever that size is, that's how much to be eliminated. It said it takes from 24 to 36 hours is usually normal, but I just like to go with the size thing. So I'm always looking. You can ask my husband. Sometimes I say, I think I set a new record because I'm trying to see what it is. But, so look for that amount over your course of your day. If it's at one time, wonderful, but over the course of the day, in terms of the shapes and stuff, you don't looking for pellets, you're not looking for marbles, you're not looking for those slithery looking things, you're looking for sausage shape. The color, you're looking for a shade of brown, a nice shade of brown. That the color thing can kind of change sometimes with what you ate that day or whatever, or medications and things like that. But typically looking for some kind of shade of brown. And what are we talking about? Transit time. Talk about transit time. 24, 36 hour period is what you're kind of looking for. But I thought it was interesting also when they talked about the condition of your toilet when you finish. In terms of wiping yourself, they were talking about, we have these Charmin commercials. I hope I'm not grossing people out, but it's interesting to me. The Charmin commercials where they're talking about, be clean for the go, or love your go, or whatever it is. Anyway, they're saying you should not have to wipe, scrub that thing, and it shouldn't have to keep coming. You should wipe one time and then you should be clean. If you have that sticky stuff going on or a lot of watery stuff or whatever, there is some issues that you need to address. Also with the cleanliness of the toilet when you finish. You shouldn't be splashing all over the place and getting your toilet all messy when you go to the bathroom. Okay, so those are some things you need to look at because your poop is actually a window to your health. Okay, it's one of the signs that you can readily look at as how healthy you are, ergo how healthy, what you might be doing to your brain, because there is a connection there. Okay, so I have a quiz. It's called Transit Assessment, but actually it's just some questions about life, things that you do, and for you to check yourself on how you're doing regarding your elimination. So if you want that, it is on my website. It is in the resource library. You can get access to that by going to keepyourbrainsharp.com. BlaineSharp.com. This is video number 182, Better Poop, Better Brain. Okay, you can find it there. And guys, don't forget my master classes. My free master classes are still going on for another few days. So check out on my website also, keepyourbbrainsharp.com, for the schedule. If you're still interested, I have like 3 or 4 more I'm doing over the next week or so. So I would love to see you there and giving you some free tips on how to have a better brain. Because your brain's destiny is in your hands. Hope to see you soon, guys. Bye-bye.